The Carolina Ascent take their first business trip of the season out west. Testing their talents on the road, Carolina faces off against an undefeated Spokane Zephyrs, looking to build a fortress in the Pacific Northwest. It is a beautiful day here in Washington State. Look at the current standings in the USL Super League. Carolina Ascent are in that #1 spot. Everybody is chasing Spokane Zephyr with 2 points on the season so far in that 6th spot. Lexington SC at the very bottom in the 8th spot. Alongside former All-SEC standout Marion Crowder, I'm Anna Whitty. This Spokane side, they're undefeated on the season. However, they do have 2 ties. They're conceding goals really late in matches. Marion, how do they improve on closing them out?
A lot of it is going to be about second actions defensively. You said it, they have good performances and they've been quite disciplined in terms of how they want to play, but now it's about keeping that full focus for 90 minutes. Quit giving up goals late in games and you might walk out of this one with 3 points.
Spokane has a forward in Amina Ekic who is very talented when it comes to her ability to create, and she's really talented about combining with her teammates as well.
She's very dynamic, a forward first mentality kind of player, a player who wants to go at you 1v1. She can hurt you in multiple ways, which is ultimately going to be a handful for Carolina.
Carolina's head coach Phil Poole said their best match of the season so far has been against Fort Lauderdale, putting 2 goals in the back of the net. And what's been so impressive is their ability to come together, and their structures starting to unfold very nicely.
And as we're seeing them grow more comfortable in their environment, they want to spend as little time away from that environment as they can. So this is their first road match. They want to get in, get out, grab the 3 points, and get back to Carolina.
Carolina has a defender on their back line in Addison Merrick, who had the most touches on the ball against Fort Lauderdale. She's a smart player and really affects the attack off the back line.
Addison Merrick has been composed, she's been collected, and she adds another wrinkle to how Carolina can build out and how they can attack in the 18-yard box.
Carolina is looking to stay undefeated on the season in their first ever road match. It's going to be an exciting one in the USL Super League. We have lineups and first kick right after this. Don't go anywhere. Carolina Ascent against Spokane Zephyr.
New flavors, the same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador, spiked bebidas.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I don't care. I paint the town red.
If you can survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
The bright horses are broken free from the fields.
Welcome inside One Spokane Stadium. It is minutes away from kick between Spokane Zephyr and Carolina Ascent FC. The final match in match day 5 in USL Super League. Spokane head coach Joe Johnson is putting her team out in a 4-3-3, and the two center backs in Sarah Clark and Sydney Cummings are going to have a really important relationship in this game.
They are, and it's going to be about their ability to step up into the pocket and start the attack. You're going to see Bourgeois on the right-hand side, Murray on the left-hand side. Clark and Cummings, their ability to connect to the next line in Canales, who can then play on the half turn, find the three up top, who are problematic. Number 7 for Spokane and number 10 for Spokane. The 1v1 situations to find Weiner in the box will be key today.
Vigiano and Braun in the midfield with Canales as well. Carolina head coach Philip Pohl has his team out in a 4-3-3, and a big player in the 6 is going to be Taylor Porter. She creates a lot for this side.
Taylor Porter does create a lot, and for Carolina, it's going to be about how they rotate around Taylor Porter. So DeMarco, Corbin, making sure that there's that balance in the midfield. And then when we're looking at the back four, that's a pretty consistent back four. We see the addition of Addison Merrick, who we talked about in the open. I want to see lots of overloads from the right-hand side of Carolina Ascent with Merrick in the attack, and Harding going to be key in the 18-yard box as well.
Carolina Ascent not making any changes to their starting 11 in their first road match of the season. Head coach for Carolina Ascent, Philip Pohl, is the former U.S. Women's National Team goalkeeper coach. He was with the team in multiple roles since 2020. He has a 2020 Olympic bronze medal. He has spent 24 years living and coaching multiple levels of the game in Charlotte, North Carolina. Spokane's head coach Joe Johnson was formerly the assistant coach at University of Tulsa from 21 to 24. She began her coaching career at University of Texas, El Paso, and has said this next progression of coaching women's professional soccer, she felt like she's worked so hard to get here and have this opportunity to continue to push her career and what she can do at this level. Spokane Zephyr, their second home match of the season. 2 ties to start the year. 1-1 in both matches. Their goal scorers in Amina Ekage and Taryn Reese, 2 numbers that play a big pivotal part up top for Spokane, have really dynamic movement and are asked a lot from Johnson throughout these types of matches. Carolina sent a team who've really become more structure oriented. They have a identity underneath Coach Pohl and how he wants them to play, but still gives them so much freedom within that structure. Carolina sent sporting their away kits for the first time this season. Spokane starting goalkeeper Izzy Nino, 24 years old, played her college ball at Michigan. She will start in goal here today for Spokane. Final match of match day 5 in USL Super League. A lot of movement around the table. We've seen some high-flying offenses. We've seen some really nice defensive work from teams, and we will wrap things up here in Washington State. Head official for today's game is Jamie Padilla. Carolina Ascent get ready for their first away match. Spokane will get the ball first. And we are underway from One Spokane Stadium. Carolina sent an undefeated side as well. They played in 3 matches to start their season, and this is the first match on the road. It was a defeat against Fort Lauderdale where Coach Pohl really said his team started to take form, really understanding the structure, how to break down teams within their possession. Spokane with a bout of possession here to start. Coach Johnson said that she wants her team really to play as a group and problem solve on the fly, but make sure that it's a team collective effort, especially to start a club's season. Ball played into the attack. Mason can't get there, and Nino will clear it wide. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Kinetic Chiropractic, a modern approach to chiropractic care. 2 players out for Spokane here today. Reese or Hayes rather, and Walker will be out. And Beard is out for Carolina with an injury she's been dealing with a lot to start this season. Coach Pohl mentioned the fact that he does have such a deep bench, especially on the back line. And it's really been up to Sydney Studer, who stepped up, playing next to Vicky Bruce this season. He's had a nice connection to start in the last 2 matches. On the ball. Spokane gets forward, a heavy ball into the attack. Weinert keeps it in bounds. Weinert underneath, cleared away.
And a really good early start, just a vertical ball down the right-hand side, and Weinert showing all kinds of speed. That ball absolutely out of bounds. You saw the goalkeeper waving her hand saying, please, please help. And ultimately a goal opportunity avoided.
Mackenzie Weinert, first player to create an opportunity for Spokane. It's Amina Ekage standing over this corner. This is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Ball inside, cleared out. Carolina wins the ball back. DeMarco will regain the possession for Carolina. Giovanna DeMarco, 2023 draftee, 45th to San Diego Wave. She won the Shield with San Diego last season in the NWSL and has been a really key piece for Pohl. Out of Wake Forest, Pohl has been watching her progression from college ball up to professional ball. It's just really impressed with her ability to play all 90 minutes. Aguilera in the box. DeMarco will win it back for Carolina. Giovanna DeMarco all the way back to Vicky Bruce. No changes, Marion, for either Spokane or Carolina to start this match. As this ball gets played up and Spokane looks to see it out for a goal kick. What does that say about both sides and coach's confidence in these players with no changes?
I think it says that they've been pleased with the performances overall, and ultimately as a head coach, especially as a head coach where we are learning and we are ever evolving, it's really important to focus on the quality of the performance, less about the results, more about the quality you put out onto the field. You put good quality out into the field, and the theory is eventually the results will start to yield in your favor. And so no changes to the lineup tells me that both head coaches are pleased with the way that their teams have been progressing week in, week out.
Both Spokane and Carolina both coming off of results. It was Carolina with a win over Fort Lauderdale, and being happy with that continuity has certainly helped Carolina to start this season and be in that #1 spot. Here are your keys to the game presented by Ford. We have our keys to the game. They're Crowder's keys. To be more specific, Marion, what do you have for us?
For Spokane, it's about the second actions defensively.
Heavy touch by Ekage. Cuts it inside, Ekage! Off the crossbar for a goal kick.
And the other key for Spokane is how versatile they can be up top. And right now they are taking all kinds of advantage of Amina Ekage and her multi-use attacking ability, a player who we've seen can get vertical like we just saw there, can cut back onto her favored left foot, get a shot from distance, but she can also make life very difficult for the pivot, the single pivot in Taylor Porter for Carolina, tucking into some of those more inverted pockets. That's going to be a key for Spokane, no doubt.
Ekage trying to slow down Corbin. Amina Ekage all over the field. And one player that Johnson spoke about being a really big piece in the locker room, just her experience playing the professional game for so long. There's a lot of new additions to the team that haven't necessarily played at the next level, and Ekage, along with players like Taylor Almer, have really stepped up to the plate and helped this team have that continuity, and players learn and get sped up quickly.
And so as we got interrupted by an exciting goal-scoring opportunity, which I'll always take. We look back at the keys, and we talked about the versatility up front for Spokane. We also talked about the importance of the second actions defensively. That's why they've been giving up 2 late goals so far in this season. And then for Carolina, it's all about the opposite side tucking in defensively to provide some help. We talked about Taylor Porter being that single pivot. With that, that's a lot of ground to cover. So how can the opposite side winger, opposite side outside back, tuck in a bit to help her cover some more ground? And then similarly for Carolina, the wide areas being key. You can already start to see what they want to do. They want to hit that long diagonal ball because they have some really favorable matchups against the outside backs of Spokane.
Carolina plays with Baisden and Aguilera out wide, who have a ton of pace in the wide areas, with Addison Merrick as an outside back.
Yeah, so
as
think
well.
2v1s,
Yep.
3v2s, all of those combination plays in the wide channel specifically, because the goal with that is to win that overloaded situation. Now you've pulled defenders out of the box. It's a more favorable matchup in the 18-yard box for your team. And I think that Carolina could really have a lot of success in that kind of matchup.
Nice turn by Ekich. Ekich with space. Spokane will pull it back. Canales switches it. Good ball movement by Zephyr. Reese back out wide. No reason to push it if you're Spokane. They will get dispossessed by DeMarco. DeMarco playing a little bit deeper next to Taylor Porter. You make a good point about Taylor Porter being that single pivot in Carolina's midfield, asking to do a lot on both sides of the field. What does that say about her ability on and off the ball?
Taylor Porter really is consistent, and she can cover a lot of ground, don't get me wrong, but I think it also speaks to the different kind of looks that Carolina can present in the midfield.
Awkward touch back. McClellan will get there first.
When you have players like DeMarco, when you have players like Mia Corbin, you really want them higher up the pitch. You want them to feel freedom to go forward, but you can't do that unless you have a steady holding midfielder to rely on, and that is Taylor Porter.
Taylor Porter has started now all 4 games for Carolina Ascent. 26 years old, won the NWSL Championship back in 2022 with Portland and the Shield in 21. Has been in some really good professional systems and midfields. It's helped her nicely here. Ball to the other side of the pitch. It's cleared away by Carolina. Spokane's had some really nice opportunities to go. A lot of it's been created by Ekich down that right flank, just taking her space.
She's a problem.
Yes.
No doubt about it. And we talk a lot about attackers being very forward first, but Amina Ekich is not just that. Right now, she's trying to gain some respect of Carolina. Okay, if you're going to play me this tight, I'm going to be able to turn and I'm going to be able to run at you. And now as Carolina starts to back off and they give her space to take that touch, she's going to create a whole different kind of tool set to go against you. She can combine, she can hit from distance like we already saw. Really hard to guard a player and shut down a player who can attack you in so many different ways.
Basin with the shove in the back. It will be a foul called against Carolina.
I like the fight. I think that when you are the away side, so much of what the home side is trying to do is dictate the tempo, but sometimes just a hard, heavy challenge from one of your leaders can say a lot to the group and say, all right, we're in this fight. It's going to be a long one. And for both of these teams, very disciplined, very principled. So we're going to see a bit of a chess match, but we're also going to see a lot of individual effort, a lot of want to in this game.
On back by Carolina. And an error pass, square ball in the midfield by Carolina. Canales will play it wide. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Basin applying a lot of pressure on Murray on this left-hand side, rather it's right-hand side for Carolina. Murray's having to go back, and that partnership you see between Cummings and Clark is going to be really important because what Carolina's doing. It'll be a foul called against Carolina.
That's absolutely brilliant from Reese. So many wingers in that position would keep their hips completely faced towards their own goal. You saw her, we talk a lot about players playing on the half turn. That's what it looks like in action.
DeMarco with nothing but space, broken up by Spokane. Aguilera will win the possession back for Carolina. Aguilera on that left flank for Carolina. Joe Aguilera, 26 years old, previously played with Chicago in the 2022-2023 season. And is a member of the Puerto Rican national team. Plenty of professional experience. A player who likes to get stuck in with a lot of pace and certainly with a lot of energy. She understands how to take care of her body at the professional level and can play consistent 90 minutes. Murray. Carolina and Spokane, two of the best passing accuracy teams in this USL Super League to start. Here comes Spokane. Vigiano, her pass will be deflected out. Passing accuracy for both Spokane and Carolina heading into this match. Shows a lot about these teams' ability to have that continuity early. Throw in again for Katie Murray. This is the first ever match between Carolina and Spokane. As Poole has been very vocal on the sideline, a lot of coaching. His style is to really help out this team, especially when it comes to his structure. You'll see it a lot on the sideline, is structure. He wants the principles to be played out all 90 minutes. Back to McClellan. Coach Johnson said coming into this match against Carolina, she felt like Carolina really sits in a front block. So if they can get beyond that and find an opportunity in the wide areas against Carolina, that's where they're going to have their best chances. You've seen that a lot from Ekich, getting on the ball in the wide areas and really disrupting Carolina's back line. Carolina breaks multiple lines. Harding out wide to DeMarco. Ball will go over the end line.
And when you've got impact players like Ekich, like Reese on both of the flanks, sometimes, especially when we're not familiar with these teams yet, right? We're learning about our opponents week in, week out. But when you've got impact players, sometimes the game plan in the opening 20 minutes is let's just get them the ball and see how Carolina is trying to limit their touches, right? Every team's going to defend impact players differently, whether that's cutting off the supply like we saw Carolina do really well last week, or whether that's playing with their hands on their back and just making life difficult when they receive it. And so sometimes the only way to find out how a team is going to affect your impact players is just to get them the ball early and let them work. And that's exactly what Joe Johnson has told her team.
DeMarco finds Corbin. Corbin has some space. Aguilera in the box across, deflected. Basin around the shoulder, and that ball will go wide off the left foot of Harding. Scan now, and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, De Leon's Taco and Bar, The Burger Dock, Flat Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Jimmy John's, Casa Top House, IHOP, and Steam Plant Restaurant and Brew Pub. lot of really good options.
I'm going to IHOP.
Going to IHOP?
I love pancakes. I'm a big breakfast for dinner kind of gal.
I'm going to go to Jimmy John's. I love a good Italian sub.
That's fine. That's fair.
Are you interested in like mixing and matching pancakes and subs?
I would.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Who says dinner has to be structured?
Nobody. That's crazy. Spokane wins it in the middle. It has Ekic with all that time out wide. Amina Ekic. And Taylor Porter is that player who's getting out there and slowing down Ekic. It was fun talking to Poole about the structure and how he really trusts the players that he has brought into this Carolina system. Gives them a lot of freedom to make decisions on the fly.
And a lot about what Philip Poole is trying to build is trust, right? You have to trust that the principles are going to work. You have to actually see that they're going to work. And then you have to trust that your teammates are going to do their job. And building that trust is also what builds moments like this, a confidence to go forward.
Harding out wide. Overlapping run is Merrick. A defensive effort by Reese. A matchup that's going to be really fun in this one. It's Taryn Reese and Addison Merrick, two players with a lot of speed. Reese is a player who is a true forward, but she's going to have her hands full with Addison Merrick, who can get off that back line and contribute.
And this is the kind of matchup that, as viewers, you should be absolutely ecstatic about, because it's going to be cat and mouse for the full 90.
Guion takes the shot. That'll sail over. Renee Guion, she is the first player in USL Super League with an Olympico. And if you haven't seen that goal, man, you have to go and check it out on USL Super League social media.
Well, she got a taste of being the hero, and you can tell she wants a little bit more. Renee Guion, an absolute brilliant goal last time out, trying to get her team on the score sheet early on. Big hit from distance. Why not?
Why not?
Test the goalkeeper early.
Guion, one of the outside backs for Carolina, played 2 seasons in Denmark. Her first professional contract was in Lithuania. Spokane goes out quickly. Ekic again. Ekic 1v1 against Guion. Good defensive effort by Carolina. Spokane will stay with it. Bourgeois inside into the hands of McClellan.
Really good on both sides of the ball there for Spokane. That was a brilliant build-up. All players playing on the half turn, opening their bodies so the next pass can go forward. And for Carolina Ascent, we talked about how players are going to rotate around Taylor Porter. You saw in the recycled of that ball getting back out to Ekic, it was Jill Aguilera who came back. She tucked in, and that kept Taylor Porter home central. So those are all of the moments, all of the shifting, the nuances that all of these teams are trying to work through in these opening minutes. But really, really good from both sides in the opening 20.
Windermere Foundation is thrilled to welcome our charity of the month. It's more than a home. It's a way back, it's a way to give back. Please visit our site at www.windermerefoundation.com. A lot of good relationships on this Carolina side, a team who really hammers that home. And Coach Poole, a lot of his players coming from the Carolinas, really trying to build his club around the talent locally in Carolina. Very similar to what Petroselli is doing for Dallas Trinity.
Saw how well that panned out last night.
My goodness. 6-2 win over Lexington. A dominant win. You saw a hat trick, you saw a brace, you saw an unbelievable set piece, and all 6 goals were so unique. Couldn't be more happy than the Dallas coaching staff. Basin down on the ground, grabbing that left leg.
And it's DeMarco on the ball initially, trying to do just a quick little combination, and Basin, what an intelligent move. You see that plant right there. That plant is what is A, giving her the ability to get down the inline and turn on her defender, but it's also B, what led to the foul. So excellent from Basin all around. Now you're forcing an outside back to play on a yellow card for 70 minutes.
Defended by Merrick. A yellow card will be handed to Katie Murray after that Basin foul. Ball inside, cleared by Bruce. Spokane's looking to get out really fast here. This will be another corner kick for the home side. This is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Amina Ekic stands over the second corner of this game. Fans at One Spokane Stadium pumped for this one. Ball inside, punched away by McClellan. The day for Spokane Zephyr is brilliant, and it's not just the players, but it's also the club in general. Really, this entire match is marketed around that. Ball inside, Weinert. A little bit of a touch is Studer to slow down that chance.
I think I'm going to start texting you random words of the day.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, they're not going to be encouraging like that is, though. Yeah, we're just going to
actually like that better.
And look, Weinert already, here's what I love about Spokane, right? We've seen their ability to build, but we've also seen their willingness to go quickly and go direct.
Murray. Studer clears it. Spokane will keep it in Carolina's back half. Ekic. Another Spokane throw-in.
And that sequence was a picture perfect of what we were talking about with Taylor Porter. See how far out of position she has to get pulled. And in that moment, they realized she was out of position. They realized no one had filled that vacant slot for her. They find Vigiano in the midfield, and she almost finds the next line.
Shot, and that will sail over. Spokane with a good few opportunities in the last few minutes, really creating out of their midfield. And their back line and their two center backs really are setting up the midfield well. McClellan will have a goal kick. Meg McClellan, this is her fourth start for Carolina. Played her college ball at Rutgers. Earned the first clean sheet in Super League history with the victory over DC Power. Has spent time in Denmark, played for the Chicago Red Stars, San Diego Wave, and won an NWSL Championship last year with Gotham. McClellan, a player that Coach Poole is really excited and said the USL Super League really, this is what this league is about, is players like McClellan who are extremely talented, who have a ton of professional experience and have an opportunity to shine here in the States. Guion's gonna have her hands full all night with Ekic.
And they're forcing Joe Aguilera to do a lot of defending as well. Again, making Carolina Ascent have recovery runs in the legs. It really minimizes what you can do and how many numbers you can get forward in the attack.
Nice touch by Sarah Clark. She'll get out wide to Katie Murray. Nice underlapping run. Murray can't stay with it. No whistle until it's blown. Basin will be called for the foul. Zephyr fans, get match ready with the latest Zephyr merchandise. Shop online or in the team store at the Davenport Grand Hotel in Spokane. This is the third home match for Spokane. The beginning of the fall schedule really is in Spokane's favor when it comes to home matches. In the latter half of the season, the Zephyrs will be on the road a lot. So if you are in the Washington area, catch them in action at home. Ball goes back. Underneath, it's Clark. Harding have to drop off.
That was your moment if you're Carolina, right? Both center backs stepped up, didn't have a lot of transition forward. Not quick enough in terms of the transitional thinking for Carolina, but excellent kind of 5 seconds of fury, as coaches like to call it, right? As soon as you lose the ball, how quickly can you try to win it back? And the Zephyrs do well to do just that and avoid a potential really dangerous transition moment.
It's been really nice possession from Spokane. 56% of it has been in the favor of the home side, and they've looked really confident on the ball, really done a great job of not panicking in moments against Carolina's defensive structure.
The tempo has been nice as well. You don't see too much of center back passing between each other, right? You can tell that they want to get this first goal. They want to lead at home, and they're trying to find the next line with their first pass.
It's really important right now for Spokane to get these 3 points at home, and Coach Johnson said our final 6 matches of the fall schedule is on the road, so if you could have the energy of the crowd behind you to help lead you to victory, gotta take advantage when you have it. Harding pressing, it'll go wide. Nino will get one of her first 2 touches really on the ball in the first 28 minutes of action. A lot of fans here in attendance tonight at One Spokane Stadium. It is an exciting match between Carolina, #1 in the league right now, and Spokane in that 6th spot, but have really proven to have a talented side, still undefeated on the year.
And here's the thing about Carolina. We've seen them be able to weather the storm and do it well and come out, and in about 10 minutes they look like an entirely different team, and somehow they're leading, right? We've also seen them take teams completely out of games. I think about that Fort Lauderdale match last week. Fort Lauderdale, really from the minute the whistle blew, did not have a chance. And so that just goes to show Spokane's sense of urgency and why they have that sense of urgency to get the first goal and do it quickly.
DeMarco dribbling in the box. Clark gets a touch, finds the feet of Vigiano. Merrick, a nice pass into Harding, and a foul will be called against Carolina. Braun on the ground. Sophia Braun, previously with Kansas City Current, she is on loan with Spokane. Has 29 caps with Argentina, has played in Liga MX as a center back, right now being asked to be in that midfield position. So still, Johnson says, yes, this is a consistent starting 11 from the match before, but still trying to figure out the best 11 that go together this season that can get us the results we want. You can hear Poole on the sideline, move it. Ball goes back to Bruce.
I couldn't agree more. It's very slow on the ball right now for Carolina. Players taking far too many touches, and leads me to believe one of 2 things, right? They're not having a lot of communication. There's not that much decision-making going on from the ball carrier, but what I am seeing is the fact that there's no movement off the ball for the players in front of them. So the back line right now, the defensive midfielders for Carolina struggling to find that next option.
Aguilera wins it high.
Brilliant.
Corbin in the box. Corbin! Mia Corbin, her 2nd Super League goal, gives Carolina a 1-0 lead on the road.
Exactly as we said. Carolina can come in here and change the game at a moment's notice because of their efficiency in the final third. I was asking for more movement off of the ball, and Mia Corbin picks her head up, finds that the holding midfield for Spokane have stepped out completely. The center backs are far too stretched. Look at Clark, excuse me, on the back post, right? That's your center back. Your other center back is on the touchline where the throw-in occurred, and far too stretched from Spokane. Mia Corbin exploits that brilliantly. And against the run of play entirely, Carolina gets the lead away from home.
Jill Aguilera on the left-hand side did a great job to win the ball in the final third as well to help set that up for Carolina. And right now, a Spokane player is down on the ground getting assessed. This is Carolina's first road match, and a lot of questions were around Carolina. Can they get the job done on their own? Because they've been so consistent at home with 3 matches so far. We're going to take another look at this tackle. Baisden goes in it with Cummings. Actually,
there's a bit of an awkward fall from Cummings, but as she's getting checked out, fixing her cleat, I love that angle from our crew because it showed, we saw in the replay of the goal where Clark was, the left center back. You just saw when we were trying to look for the injury where Cummings is, the right center back, and Canales does not drop down to cover, right, and act as that third center back. And because of that, Mia Corbin says there is about 15 yards here of open space. She's got time. It's a great ball right to split Canales and Cummings. And she takes all the time, has all the composure in the 18-yard box and puts it away.
Mia Corbin, a clinical finisher for Carolina Ascent. 2022 was the Golden Boot winner and a two-time champion in Costa Rica, so knows how to get the job done. Previously was with Brisbane Roar with 8 goals, 4 assists in the 23-24 season. A plethora of goal scorers for Coach Poole.
I had 2 players in my mind when we're looking at players to watch, and for Carolina it was Addie Merrick, right? We talked about why we want her to get involved, get in the attack. The second player was Mia Corbin. We've seen how effective she can be from distance, an absolute stunner in her first goal for the Super League. But today the key was going to be about breaking Spokane down from more central positions, and it was about her wanting to be involved, finding the proper passing channels. She does all of that, and because of it, she gets the lead for her team on the road.
Mia Corbin giving Carolina that lead in the 30th minute of action. Spokane had a really nice first 20-25 minutes of play using Amina Ekic just like this. Ekic over the top. Keon keeping her feet. The ball will go back into the box. Will go wide. Good opportunity by Zephyr. Zephyr fans, scan the QR code to get your single match tickets today. Still plenty of home matches to catch if you are Spokane. The next match will be against DC on September 22nd at One Spokane Stadium. Ball over the top. Good defensive effort by Clark. She'll win it back. Merrick will find Harding. Turning, finding other side of the field is Aguilera back inside the basin. A heavy touch. Cummings will win it. Rather, that's Clark. Reese dribbling into the midfield. She'll get fouled. On that touchline, going to receive that ball. Instead, Spokane will go short. Carolina's starting to understand that Amina Ekic is that number that Spokane wants to get the ball to consistently. Guion doing a good job of stepping up when asked. Now over the top to Harding. Basin, one touch. That'll go out of bounds. Carolina, a team, not only do they have a structure, but pressing high and making sure they win the ball high up the field is something that they took into the Fort Lauderdale game and won because of it. They just didn't allow Fort Lauderdale to break through with players like Felicia Knox in the midfield. And right now you see it from Carolina a little bit more as this game progresses. They're winning it higher up the field. DeMarco out wide to Basin. Basin across. Be another throw in for Carolina.
And what was working for Spokane in the early part of this half versus what's not working now is the decision making from the back line is far too slow. Oftentimes when they had success, it was because they were quick and direct when they were building through the thirds. Limited amount of touches, always knowing where the next pass was going to be. And right now we're seeing that paralysis by analysis, trying to do too much and just trusting that you have a whole nother half to play. You have been the team on the front foot.
Weiner in the box. Weiner cuts inside. 3 defenders from Carolina, they'll clear it. Not far enough. Reese switches the point of attack. Ball across. DeMarco will save Carolina. Foul will be called against Carolina. It was Cummings trying to keep the ball in the attack for Spokane.
The center backs for Spokane again. Players who Joe Johnson wants the attack to start from. She wants Cummings and Clark to be able to step up into the pocket, feed it to the next line. And Cummings earns a really dangerous set piece with Amina Ekic over it.
Ekic with her 3rd set piece of the match. That's a few short options if need be. Ekic in the box. Far post, Reese gets a head on it. Cleared away by Studer. It will be a corner kick for Spokane.
It's a perfectly textured, perfectly weighted ball to the back stick. Has just enough loft on it to make the header easy for the players running onto the back stick. It's not too high and it's not too direct, and that was just right into the path of, unfortunately for Spokane, 2 of the same players.
Ekic from distance. Inside, Reese heads it the opposite direction. Vigiano across. Get it out, and it will be a goal kick for Carolina.
And this right here is the difference in the pass delivery. You see the initial low-driven ball. That's quite easy for a player to get down and over the ball and head it back towards the frame. Then you saw that pass. It had a bit more spin underneath the ball. It was a bit more lofted. That is so difficult for an attacker to go up, head over that ball, and get it back down into the frame of goal. So those are the little nuances that teams are trying to sort through in these opening weeks.
Foul called against Carolina. And coming over to have a conversation is Padilla and Braun. Padilla and Braun. Let's take a look at that foul. Sarah Clark restarts it for Spokane. Just under 5 minutes to go in the first half at One Spokane Stadium. A 30th minute goal by Mia Corbin puts Carolina up by 1 on the road. Alongside Marion Crowder, I'm Anna Whitty. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. McClellan, she'll pick it up. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including live matches from the USL Super League. Visit uslsuperleague.com/SiriusXM to view the schedule. Taylor Porter now getting on the ball. Seen a lot of defensive effort from Porter. And now some possession by the 6. Izzy Nino, goalkeeper for Spokane. Previously with Newcastle Jets, played in 22 games, had 2 clean sheets last season. Harding in the box, takes an extra touch. Harding right into Nino.
I can't tell you how difficult of a save this is because of how unique that setup is from Harding. Everyone in the stadium, we in the booth, we thought she was taking that on the first touch, a right-footed half volley to the back stick, but instead she cuts it across. That forces the goalkeeper to stop in her tracks and say, oh wait, the ball's not actually coming to me. And you saw she was able to recover, but it was a near miss again for Spokane.
Guion down on the ground, slow to get up for Carolina. On that outside back for Carolina has been putting in a really nice defensive shift against Amina Ekic. You saw Harding take that shot, a few extra touches. Would you have rather seen the one-touch hit?
No, because that extra touch is what made life so difficult for the goalkeeper in that instance. She had this fake windup about her, right? You even saw her pick her head up a bit, looking like she was gonna hit that first time. Then she has the strength and the patience to hold off, take that extra touch, and because of that, she almost catches a better angle from the goalkeeper, forces her to get back to her feet.
So many decisions to make in that split second for these forwards.
And a lot of that is when you look up and you see the frame of goal and you don't see that window that you like, how can you make that window become available? And for Harding in that moment, she looked up, saw that she had a player blocking the near post, saw the goalkeeper was in a good position. She takes that extra touch just to try and freeze or make a hesitation in the next movement, and she almost gets away with it.
Clear foul, that'll be a yellow card to Canales. That right hand pulls down Mia Corbin.
And Canales with a bit of frustration. Again, the player that Mia Corbin is like for like matched up with in the midfield.
Looks like a little bit of a frustration pull from Canales as well. Mia Corbin has been running a lot in that midfield, but also in the attack for Carolina. So free kick goes out to Riley Baisden. Aguilera takes a touch in the box. Basin. Nino will get there first. Ooh. DeMarco runs right into Nino. Going out the other way is Vigiano. Nice turn by Weinert. Carolina tracking back defensively, they'll win it. Spokane switching the point of attack. Akic getting back on the ball. Overlapping run. Out wide to Vigiano. In the box, Reese pops it up. It'll go out of bounds for a goal kick. This half stoppage time is presented by Rosario's Supermarkets. 4 minutes of stoppage time here at One Spokane Stadium. Plenty of time for both Carolina and Spokane to get something before the half. Outside of Mia Corbin's goal, we've seen a few opportunities from Spokane in their set pieces. Carolina, a few chances, but nothing that really tested either side too much. Weiner switches it. A little heavy of a pass, can't get there. Nike on with the throw in. Couple minutes until the halftime break. Spokane, this is an important 3 points that they have to get at home as the ball goes over the top. Where can Spokane really affect Carolina's back line and look to tie this one up in the latter half here in the last few minutes or in the second half?
They've been affecting the back line, and I would argue they've had more of the dangerous chances. They've created more dangerous runs. They've had more dangerous runs in the box. There's been more dangerous services. Everything's right, but now it's about being more efficient with your final third entry. So drawing fouls, earning corner kicks, forcing saves, this idea of wearing down with a fatigue, right? This raid of it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And ultimately, Spokane has had the better of this first half, but it all comes down to winning the 18-yard boxes, and that's what they have not done.
Taking advantage of the moments as well. Mia Corbin, the lone goal scorer in this game so far, sets up a corner kick for Carolina. In soccer, too, it can become so unpredictable as to what team is going to get their moment, and especially at the beginning of a season, having to be so consistent always. You can't turn off in these games. Basin stands over the corner. Basin, and then Swinger. Studer gets a header for the goal! Studer off the corner doubles the lead for Carolina.
We talked about set pieces being so key in this matchup, and she just goes up and gets that one, does the center back for Carolina. But I want to point out, if I'm being hypercritical, I've got to point out the positioning of Bourgeois. She's not even looking at the ball. She's looking entirely at Sydney Studer, doesn't know when the timing of the service is being had. And Sydney Studer, watching the ball the whole way, times it absolutely perfectly. So it's a moment of brilliance from a center back who just had the willingness to get up and go. But there's also, Anna, we've seen now in both goals, lapse in the defensive moments for Spokane. You've got to position your body in a way that you can see both ball and player. And the ball aspect of that goal was completely lost by Bourgeois.
Basin looking up for a last-minute chance here in the first. Run back by Clark. The small details is really what it comes down to in those types of set pieces, in those moments to take advantage of winning the ball back. Spokane not able to do so in the first half. That's going to be their challenge. Studer taking full advantage of it. Gets a goal for Carolina, and you can see the excitement from Coach Poole to take full advantage of the set pieces here tonight.
And she's trying to play it cool, but center backs are always excited to score. But yeah, Carolina did excellent to weather the storm. They bent, but they did not break, and then they recognized moment of lapses from Spokane, and they made their chances count. And if you're Spokane, how do you get back into this match? Well, it's about a one goal at a time type of mentality. You've had the more dangerous runs, you've had the more dangerous services, but winning the final third entries is going to be key. They're going to condense numbers centrally, expect that. So how do you then force them out of shape?
Joined by Carolina Ascent's first goal scorer on the night, it's Mia Corbin. Mia, congratulations on the goal. Spokane has given you guys opportunities and moments in this game to take full advantage of it. When you got the ball in the 18, where did you see the chance to find it and slot it home?
Well, I mean, I saw Audrey and Riley making great back post runs that were opening up the space, and, you know, I was 1v1 with the goalkeeper, and I figured, you know, why not tuck it into the corner? And so, yeah, but definitely another half to go, so hopefully we keep going in the second half.
Exactly. Mia, you talked about another half to go. What do you guys need to do in the second half to close this out and make it a professional 90-minute performance?
I mean, I definitely know we're not happy, you know, with our set pieces. They're definitely getting some good chances on the far side with those free kicks, and we need to be a little more tidy and stop giving the ball away. So definitely some things to work on, so it should be a good second half, you know.
Thank you, Mia. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mia Corbin, one of the goal scorers for Carolina Ascent here tonight. It's a beautiful night in Washington. That sunset is something. Well, this is an exciting one. Make sure to stay with us. Carolina Ascent with a 2-0 lead over the home side, Spokane Zephyr, at the half.
Is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one. Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
Zephyr FC home match in September. Welcoming DC Power FC from our nation's capital and celebrating Hero Night. The first 500 kids will snag a Zephyr superhero cape. And bring your youth soccer gear for the Les Schwab donation drive. See Spokane Zephyr FC in their historic inaugural season. Reserve your seats now.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca Un Poco de Ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024 pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
Scan now and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you Caruso's, De Leon, Taco and Bar, The Burger Dock, Flat Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Jimmy John's, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Steam Plant Restaurant and Brew Pub. It's halftime at One Spokane Stadium. Carolina Ascent with a 2-0 lead over Spokane at the half. There's a lot happening in USL Super League. We're going to take a look at the news and notes. Carolina Ascent is undefeated going into this match. A victory over Fort Lauderdale last week landed them in this game against Spokane. The first road victory for Tampa Bay was against Lexington last week, and Brooklyn FC had their first points against Spokane last week for their debut. USL Super League. There's a lot of really exciting matches. Carolina Ascent and Spokane have some fun schedules ahead of them, and it's Spokane who has a really tricky one in the latter half of the season. But you look at the what's to come, Marion, what sticks out?
The fact that they have to focus on getting 3 points while they're at home. So you see 4 of their 5 next matches at home. That's a potential 12 points when you're going to have to deal with so many road matches in the second part of this season. And then you look at Carolina and they're back and forth and back and forth. So if there is some team that this 3 points means more to, it's got to be Spokane.
Carolina Ascent, their next match will be against Tampa Bay at home, Lexington and Brooklyn at home before they take the road against Dallas and DC Power. Carolina Ascent have started all 3 of their matches this season at home. This is their first road match, and they have taken this test really well. Carolina Ascent with that 2-0 lead over Spokane Zephyr at the half. Stay with us. We have more in the halftime break.
Is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blaze the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one. Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
Zephyr FC home match in September. Welcoming DC Power FC from our nation's capital and celebrating Hero Night. The first 500 kids will snag a Zephyr superhero cape and bring your used soccer gear for the Les Schwab donation drive. See Spokane Zephyr FC in their historic inaugural season. Reserve your seats now.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca un poco de ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024 pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
Match day 5 has been an exciting one here in the USL Super League. It all started with a dominant performance by Fort Lauderdale United, 2-0 win over the home side DC Power, opening up their home play.
Addie McCain in the 9th minute for Fort Lauderdale, followed by Jasmine Hamid. A much better performance from the Fort Lauderdale side, who had all kinds of problems when they faced Carolina Ascent. They get the ball to their playmaking wingers, and they let them have a day. Talk about have a day. Dallas Trinity FC, my oh my. But it was actually Lexington that opened the scoring first, and it was 1-0 early on before Allie Thornton with a historic hat trick equalized in the 33rd minute. And that was also with Amber Brooks sending them to the locker room up 2-1. And as you see Ubu Gagu there, we not only have a historic hat trick, we've got a historic brace as well, which brings us to Tampa Bay Sun versus Brooklyn. Isabel Cox wasn't in the starting 11, gets the start, gets the goal, and Brooklyn FC gets their first 3 points.
Brooklyn FC, their first 2 matches, stay undefeated in USL Super League. Still an exciting one here in Spokane, Washington. Hello, Zephyr fans. Scan the QR code for your chance to win a $100 gift card to Rocerar's Supermarket, official grocery store of your Spokane, Velocity, and Zephyr FC. Stay with us. We have more right after this break.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one. Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
Zephyr FC home match in September. Welcoming DC Power FC from our nation's capital and celebrating Hero Night. The first 500 kids will snag a Zephyr superhero cape and bring your used soccer gear for the Les Schwab donation drive. See Spokane Zephyr FC in their historic inaugural season. Reserve your seats now.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca un poco de ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024 pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36.
Carolina Ascent with a 2-0 lead over Spokane. Let's take a look at the first goal by Mia Corbin, set up really nicely.
Yeah, what a moment of recognition. The center backs for Spokane far too spread apart. The defensive midfielder does not drop down, and Mia Corbin exploits that space. She picks her head up, recognizes that she's got a window to the back post, sticks it in it calm, cool, collected. And then it was this moment that really sent Spokane into the locker room, not in the way that they wanted to go. Poor positioning from Bourgeois, and Studer takes that one all the way center back, getting on the score sheet.
Carolina with a 45th +3 in stoppage time goal going into the locker room. It was Studer with that goal that really gave Carolina a position on the road that they're comfortable in this match, but 2-0 is a very uncomfortable soccer score, as you know as you know very well, Marion. So right now, Spokane has to kind of dig themselves out of a hole. One substitution was made for Spokane, and Majaskinik will come on to the pitch, and Sophia Braun will go off. Throw in for Carolina. With that 2-0 lead by Carolina, what must Spokane get right here in order to catch them?
It's all about starting with tempo, really setting the tone, setting the pace early on that you're going to be in for a dogfight these next 45 minutes. what's difficult for Spokane.
Merrick off her line. Merrick across. Cleared away by Clark, a deflection. Nino will pull it in for a big-time save.
That was almost disastrous way to start the second half. And Mia Corbin doing some individual effort, getting around the corner. And Clark trying to just get any way that she can this ball out, ends up almost being an on-goal deflection to the near post. Testing their keeper early on in this second half. You still awake back there? I think is what they were asking her.
Izzy Nino certainly is. Big save as this cross comes inside. Corbin drop back a little bit more defensively. Heads it over to Porter.
So going back to what you asked me, Anna, the difficult part for Spokane is the fact that they actually were the better team in the first half, right? When you look at the style of play, the run of play, they had the majority of it and arguably created the more dangerous of the scoring opportunities. And so
Harding across on the ground. Another deflection. Nino will have to come up with a save. Some miscommunication in the 18.
Absolutely, and if you're Joe Johnson, it's really hard to go into the locker room and say, hey girls, pick up your performance, right? Because theoretically, it really was better than Carolina. The scoreline does not show that. And so for Spokane, it's all about continuing what was working, which was getting the ball out wide to your playmakers, letting them run vertically, letting them threaten in behind. And in this moment right here, it's about being more effective on the set pieces. You heard Mia Corbin say that Carolina has not been defending them well. You should recognize that if you're Spokane. Set this one up. This is a great moment to claw yourself back into this game. A dead ball situation where you've had the upper hand for the entirety of this 48 minutes.
Taylor Porter with the yellow card after bringing down Weiner.
You do have support out here on your right-hand side in Bourgeois.
Set piece in the box, that'll sail over. Marley Canales takes that set piece for Spokane. A great opportunity, really wasted.
Not the right decision there whatsoever. I think Canales knows it, and as I mentioned, she had support out to her right-hand side. You could have played it short, had an early ball back behind the back line, or you could have just lofted it into the back post runners, because like I said, they have been better in the set piece situations. Carolina has been struggling to get to the ball first.
Spokane disrupts it, and it will be a foul called against Vigiano. Rather, it does get called against DeMarco. Guion will stand over it for Carolina. Guion has some short options, but also some options in the box. Guion across. Bruce tries to get ahead on it, and it will be a corner for Carolina.
The Carolina center backs just can't stop wanting to score. Vicky Bruce got the opening goal for their first ever goal in club history. Saw Sid Studer getting on the score sheet here tonight.
Yes.
Love to see the defenders getting into action.
Sydney Studer has been a really big piece. She's a forward, also playing in a center back role. She's so versatile on this Carolina side and has come up big on both sides of the field. Basin with the corner. Across. Headed on by DeMarco. Clark will clear it up for a Carolina throw-in. Madison Merrick will restart it. 55% of the possession has been in Spokane's favor. They've dominated when it comes to keeping the ball and wanting to possess. However, that possession hasn't turned into any shots on target. Carolina with 3 shots on target in this one, 2 of them turning into goals. This touch out wide, goes back inside. Sarah Clark will clear it wide. Bruce over the top. Right into Harding. Harding has some time. That'll sail over. Harding, not much pressure on her as that ball comes inside, just not able to get over it. Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts myself and Marion Crowder. Follow along all season on the app. Ekage in the box, awkward clearance, and eventually Guion will get there. Murray, back inside. Nobody's on the far post. It will be a goal kick. To finish that thought, you can follow Game Week all season long on the SiriusXM app. Coach Johnson looking on. Jo Johnson, coaching her first professional women's team, said that this is just a growing process for her side and really wants this team to dominate in the possession, but wants to problem solve, and no bigger problem than when you're down by 2 at home. Bourgeois inside, Bruce. Cleared up by Aguilera. Spokane deep in Carolina territory.
And now it's about being a bit more patient in this moment. How many players can you draw out of the box? And they don't make anything of that, but the idea here, right, if you're Carolina and you're up 2-0, you are naturally going to start condensing numbers, especially in those central areas. How do you break that down if you're Spokane? You do it by having those overloads in the wide areas, forcing Carolina out of that shape, out of those condensed numbers in the 18-yard box. Then you feed the service across, so it's more favorable for your players and your runners in the 18-yard box. And it's a really tough balance to have when you're down 2 goals. You want to have this sense of urgency, this tempo to you, and then still having that patience and that sophistication in the final third to know that maybe 1 or 2 more passes actually will create a better opportunity for us.
You could see it on that throw-in by Spokane. Awkward error throw-in that turned into a Carolina goal kick. Sometimes it's the details that have to be there too. Porter switches the attack. They're won by no one, and Spokane will get the throw in. Katie Murray has been tasked with a huge defensive effort in this game as the halftime sub, and Jazz Connect wins it. Shoving behind, no whistle blown. Reese with a heavy touch. And a heavy tackle by Bruce at the same time. She will also receive a yellow.
And as this play is developing, you see both players, it's just gonna be a hair difference in the timing. It's the correct decision from Reese just to try and take a long touch forward, force Vicky Bruce either to let her go or foul her. Foul Vicky Bruce does, and now you've got a center back playing on a yellow card.
Vicky Bruce with a diving, trying to slow down Reese. Maybe could have used her right foot instead of her left as Murray gets this free kick. Over everyone, goes off of Ekage and no direction. Zephyr fans, scan the QR code to get your single match tickets today. McClellan kicks it up. No immediate pressure from Spokane. Do you want to see Spokane stepping whenever McClellan and Bruce have it deep in their own territory?
I want it to be definitive and I want it to be predictable. I don't necessarily need them to play the highest of lines, but that was a really good look at what they're trying to do. They're trying to force play into these favorable pockets near the touchline acting as another defender and winning it back in these wide areas where they have also been the better team in the attack. So if you can win the ball in the areas you've been successful in the attack, why not? But all that is making play predictable, making it known, and that starts with Weinert as the front runner. It starts then with the flanks, funneling this pocket, this shape around players so the holding midfielders know then to step.
Harding with the touch, awkward deflection, 2 runners, and it gets wide by Clark. Almost disastrous play by Spokane.
I wish that we had a camera on Philip Poole for the entirety of the game, because his reactions as plays are developing is second to none. And this is just another moment of near miscommunication from the Spokane back line. A defensive unit we've talked about being really key for them in the attack has actually let them down quite a few times in the defense. Positioning off a bit, playing a high line, so it's kind of high risk, high reward.
It's working out in Carolina's favor right now. This is another corner kick for the away side. Nino has been asked to make some really big saves, really unpredictable saves at times, because some of them just have been deflections off her own team. Basin with the corner. Basin inside. Headed by Harding. This one lofted up, easy for Nino to take down. Now Nino wants to go out to Ekich. A defensive effort by Basin to get back. Weinert stays with it. Spokane stepping up, ball inside. Basin will clear it up.
You got to give credit to Harding, the number 9, or playing as the number 9 for Carolina Ascent. A lot of what the center backs have had to deal with from Spokane is just her movement, playing off the back shoulder, often lurking in some of those lax pass backs that we've seen. She has been a handful for them. We haven't called her name all that much, but she's done a lot of work that's made their life difficult.
Reese trying to be difficult as well. This ball comes across. No runners there for Spokane. There's been a lot of creation from both flanks. It's that final piece in the box in front of McClellan. Reese, one of those big creators, one of those forwards that Johnson really relies on to get in combination, to get out. And if Spokane has to go in transition, it would be through a player like Ekich or Reese. Heavy pressure by Ekich. Murray will recycle the play, goes back to Clark. Jaskinek pulls it back. Emma Jaskinek, Big Ten Midfielder of the Year back in 2022, played in 91 games for Wisconsin and had 37 goals. Was drafted this past season in the 2nd round to the Utah Royals. Now on the Spokane offensive line. Here comes Jaskinek from distance. Bourgeois. Ekich. Ekich across. Ekich deflected out for a corner. rather. Padilla is going to call that one dead before it went out of bounds off of a Carolina player, so it will be a goal kick for McClellan. Right now, Zephyr fans have to get loud for Spokane because this team needs all the energy that they can get. These 3 points at home are extremely important for Johnson and her side. The last 6 matches of the fall season are all on the road, and 3 points are the easiest to get at home, and you gotta get it done when it's presented to you. The inaugural USL Super League season has officially begun. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight to all things Super League. A lot of fun storylines and a lot of fun scores across the league this past weekend. Dallas Trinity, by far the best offensive performance we've seen yet in the league. 6 goals over Lexington.
It's well done. That's the moment to go. You sell out to win the ball in a higher area up the field. Very well done from the home side.
Reese, inside, across. Jaskinek goes right in front of her. Clark from distance. Ekage over the crossbar for Spokane.
And again, the nuances of the runs in the box. Weinert's checking back to that one. Jaskinek is coming towards it. Neither player really committed to getting their head on it. And I bring that up because I want to draw attention to the fact that we are still very much in a learning and a growing and an evolving phase. And I can speak from my own experience as an attacker. Those nuances of relationships, like runs in the box, are often the last thing to come. They take time, they take patience, they take match reps. And it's hard to remember that when you're down 2-0 and you want the win. But I just want to encourage the viewers at home. It's not supposed to be perfect right now.
No. This is only the 3rd match for Spokane. There's a lot of things that Johnson wants her team to be better at, and one of the big ones was just playing a higher line in some of these matches. Here comes Harding, a big test to the center backs. Harding! Good diving save by Nino.
And that's a great point, because that's what I feel that Spokane needs to change in this moment. I'm fine with them not pressing every single time the center back or the goalkeeper gets the ball, but the game is far too stretched. The back line has dropped off far too much. It's making life very difficult for the midfielders to win balls in their defensive third.
Harding, across. No one's there to complete that pass. Nino will use her feet. There's a little bit of that disconnection, too, between Spokane's back line and the midfield. And some of the details, just like that error pass, has led Spokane to this position in the 65th minute. Carolina will stay with the ball. Right now, Spokane is playing with that single pivot with Canales in that role. It's been asked a lot from her in this game. Here comes Ekage. Ekage dribbles inside. Ekage blocked. Not cleared all the way. A little bit of pressure will be applied from Vigiano. Aguilera will get it out.
Amina Ekage is so good. Such a bright spot. And if there was one piece of her game that I would love to see her do a bit more, is welcoming contact in the box.
Bourgeois across, a little too far in front of Reese. However, a good look by Spokane, a nice driven ball. Does it have to be quicker from Ekage at this point once she gets into the box? Because Carolina is allowing her to dribble into the 18.
I don't think it needs to be quicker, but there are moments when you're trying to get it on your favorable foot, and there are moments when you just need to welcome the contact, right? We talk about being efficient in the 18-yard box, and that means earning stats, earning certain categories. That could be earning a corner kick for your team. That could be forcing a goalkeeper to get to ground and make a save. That could also be earning fouls, drawing fouls. And there are times where I've seen Amina Ekic, she wants to be on the ball, she wants to find that perfect shot window, and sometimes it's just about lowering your shoulder, welcoming the contact.
Basin and the box driven. Nino comes up with the save. Nino going out quickly to Bourgeois. No one there to connect it to. Carolina will win it back. The aspect of getting stuck into tackles and lowering your shoulders, as you mentioned about Ekic, was something that Johnson also mentioned. The last game for Spokane against Brooklyn, Johnson just wanted her team to be a little bit more physical, to get stuck into tackles, and that is where Spokane is kind of at in their season, is just trying to figure out that balance.
And that's a very detailed evolution for an attacker specifically.
Yeah.
That's understanding. So in that last sequence that we saw Amina Ekic, where she's dribbling 3 or 4 touches with her left foot in a lateral line across the 18-yard box, perhaps can you, instead of taking one of those extra touches to the left, can you force a cut back to your right? Those are the things that welcome contact, and then obviously being willing to take it.
Reese drawing some contact. 2v1 goes back to Murray. Jaskinek, a nice through ball. Sliding tackle by Basin. It will be a corner kick for Spokane. This is the ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. Amina Ekic will take this corner. Ekic across the 6, headed away by Guion. Corner kick doesn't turn into anything for Spokane. Carolina will get this goal kick. Substitution will be made for Spokane. Jody Ukeko will come onto the pitch for Amina Ekic. Decision by Johnson to take off Ekic, a player who really contributed a lot to the offense in this game. Wasn't able to find a goal for her side. Jody Ukeko will step on. She was a national team replacement player for Seattle and a non-roster invitee in 2024. Played her college ball at Gonzaga and is from Sammamish, Washington, a local player for Spokane. Jaskinek back out wide. Weiner, a nice through ball. Across by Vigiano, blocked by Bruce. Center backs of Carolina have really held Spokane a little bit in the wider areas. Vigiano's trying to break through here. Zephyr fans, get match day ready with the latest Zephyr merchandise. Shop online or in the team store at the Davenport Grand Hotel in Spokane. Harding driving in the box. Harding on her left. It'll be a corner kick for Carolina. A nice one-hand save by Nino.
How cheeky from Harding on this one. Again, being unpredictable with the way that she goes forward. We saw her take an extra touch in the first half, and we see her, instead of going to the back post where Nino was cheating, you see her take that step with her left foot. She's cheating for the cross on the back post, and Harding recognizes that and almost finds her buried in the near post.
5th corner kick for Carolina in this match. Basin again with the in-swinger.
Tell you what though, Nino's had to react to quite a lot, and her reactionary skills have been put to the test today.
It's been an impressive showing for Nino, especially in the second half. Basin waiting for that whistle to go. She'll take a sip of water on the sideline. A little bit of an injury. Studer getting attention on the sideline. Padilla will wait to blow this whistle. A little bit of blood on Suter's jersey. Can't have that. Basin inside. Corbin gets a little too much on it. It'll be a goal kick. Oh, nice nutmeg. Vigiano tries to stay with it. Weinert. Weinert across. Blocked by Guion. Underneath. Bourgeois looks to go across again. And that's where Spokane is really trying to get those opportunities in that wide area as Aguilera is still down.
Exactly. Carolina is conceding the width. They're conceding the half spaces even to really be organized in their box defending. They want the numbers there. They want the numbers centrally. They don't mind defending the service. They don't mind having to clear. What they don't want is for runners to be free inside the 18-yard box. So again, not too many numbers committed here. As we see why Aguilera is down, just went to ground, maybe caught a cramp a bit. But if that's what Carolina is going to give you, continue creating corner kick opportunities and have the focus to put one away. An excellent opportunity to dig yourself back into this one.
Corner by Vigiano. Across, Jaskinek. Cleared away by Studer. The corner kicks are presented by ICCU, your financial success fan club. Substitutions being prepared on the sideline for Carolina. Jana McGrew, the 17-year-old, is getting prepared to take the pitch here tonight.
And if you're a Spokane fan and you thought maybe your life was about to get easier on the attacking side of things, I hate to break it to you, but she is a problem.
Jana McGrew, the commit to FSU in 2025. She signed the first ever USL Academy contract and played with the 2024 Ascent USLW team. She will take off Jill Aguilera and come on. One game she's played in so far this season, but just with so much speed, so much of a soccer IQ, her ability at just 17 years old to really impact these professional games is really impressive.
And this is about legs, right? This is about freshness. Putting in a player who is willing to run, go box to box, make the recovery runs, but also be an outlet in the transitional moments. That's what Jada McGrew can provide for this Carolina Ascent team as they try to close this one out.
75th minute of action. Carolina with 2 goals in the first half in their first road match as well. This is a big test for Carolina, and right now they're passing it with flying colors. Jaskinek across off the heel of Merrick will be a corner kick. This is the ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. Jody Ukekel will be on the end of this one for Spokane. Ukekel inside, all the way across. No Carolina players touch it. It will be a goal kick. The biggest question really coming into match day 5 in the Super League is Carolina is at the top of the standings, 7 points. Haven't dropped a game yet. However, they also hadn't been on the road yet. So the question was, can Carolina get the job done on the road? Right now, the answer is yes. It's been very consistent despite the strong start from Spokane. They have weathered the storm and right now have a convincing lead in the 76th. It was fun to listen to Poole, as that will be a foul called against Carolina. Harding will get the foul called against her, and Murray will restart it. Vigiano inside to Weiner. Cleared away by Bruce. This is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Vigiano with Spokane's 7th corner of this match. A lot of set pieces. And even Mia Corbin said at the half that Carolina's given Spokane a lot of chances off these corner kicks, defended them well. However, they're still getting the moments. Vigiano in the box. Across, nobody gets on the end of it. McGrew with time and space continues her run. McGrew into the box. Well defended by Clark for a goal kick. McGrew showing the legs that she has and the energy. Miscommunication by Clark. Quick throw in by Merrick. McClellan showing her ability to play with her feet. Finds Bruce. High pressure by Weiner. McClellan will get that ball out. Merrick flies past Canales. Ball across inside to Basin. Right into the chest of Nino. Carolina is dropping a lot of players into the midfield. Spokane forcing it back. Weiner. Weiner with some space, has some time. You can see the hands from Weiner. She says, where do I go next? Where's my next option? Carolina looking very organized defensively. Cummings out wide to Bourgeois. Scan now and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you Caruso's, De Leon's Taco and Bar, The Burger Dock, Flat Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Jimmy John's, Casa Top House, IHOP, and Steam Plant Restaurant and Brew Pub. Spokane, they do have the possession, 56% in their favor right now. The biggest question for them is, can they be dangerous inside the 18? Murray out wide has Reese. Reese beats Merrick. Reese underneath to Jaskinek. And that one's just clipped up over the crossbar.
And that's that moment. The shot angle isn't there. That is such a difficult angle to try and take a shot. Your hips are turned towards the corner flag. You're outside the frame of goal already. that was the moment to perhaps, instead of having this big sense of urgency, you understand that if I just open my hips up, I see what's in front of me, we connect 1 or 2 more passes within the 18-yard box, a better shot window will open.
It's been the biggest question from Spokane all game long, is trying to find the best opportunities, especially in the first 20 minutes. Those were where they really tested McClellan, and as this match goes on, Carolina's done a good job with some of their defensive effort. Johnson making a few substitutions, trying to continue to push things on. Shove from behind. Quick to get up is Canales. Ooh, my goodness. Foul will be called against Weiner. Bazin is still down on the ground. A little bit of frustration clearly from Weiner.
What an excellent job Riley Bazin has done in this match. Absolutely a late challenge from Weiner. Probably looked a little bit worse in real time than it did on the replay, but a crunching tackle, no doubt. I've been just so impressed with Riley Bazin. Again, a player we haven't called her name all that much, but she has been willing to do the dirty work. She's been willing to work back and help Renee Guillon in some of those 1v1 situations, providing the first line of defense. She's been an attacking outlet in transition. She's tucked into the midfield at times. Really just an overall solid performance from number 10 for Carolina.
Jenny Vetter will come on for Katie Murray, a left back substitution for Spokane. Good to see Riley Bazin back up. I couldn't agree more. Bazin, a really fun addition to this Carolina side, has put in the effort and taken all of these corner kicks for Carolina. Ball popped up inside, Nino will grab it. Foul will be called, a yellow card will be assessed. This yellow card will go to Jada McGrew.
Very late from Jada McGrew, but doing what she can to stop a transitional moment. It's a yellow card she'll gladly take with only about 7 minutes in stoppage time.
Couple substitutions waiting to come on. It's Gonzalez and Serpka. Weiner on the touchline. Vicky Bruce not letting anything through in this match. Trying to restart it quickly is Ukekel. No options there for Ukekel, so it will be in a Bourgeois throw-in. Reese on the ball across. Porter with an awkward header. It will be a corner kick for Spokane. This is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Canales. Canales puts it in play. Studer heads it away. Bazin stays with it. She will slow it down. 86th minute of play. Now Carolina is looking just to protect this lead before they go back home and take on Tampa Bay. Substitutions about to be made for Carolina. Ashlyn Serpka will come on for Riley Bazin, and Catherine Gonzalez will come on for Mia Corbin.
What a shift by both of those players. Mia Corbin obviously getting her team's first goal on the night. Just a moment of brilliant recognition from her. She really did that goal from start to finish. And then we already talked about Riley Baisden. Again, this is a fresh legs type of substitute. Sarepka really more of a defensive-minded player for Carolina.
Ball inside, Sarepka creates a corner kick. Sarepka, two-time Gatorade Player of the Year in North Carolina from the Charlotte area in Cornelius, North Carolina, played college soccer at Alabama, creates this corner kick for Carolina. Gonzalez will stand over it. Catherine Gonzalez inside, driven ball in, cleared away by Spokane. This is a big test for Carolina being on the road. What did you learn from this away side in their first ever road match?
It's just impressive how much they continue to progress week in and week out. Over their last two matches, the thing that stands out in my mind is how we're starting to see the individual player intelligence come to light. They were on their heels to start this game, no doubt about that. And it was really the intelligence, the recognition of one player that got them started in the right direction. I thought we also saw a lot of that in their match against Fort Lauderdale last week. And so again, playing within the principles that Philip Poole has laid out for them, but now starting to trust their own individual instincts and having a bit more confidence when they're going forward.
Sometimes that's the most fun thing to learn about a brand new team, is how individuals can shine within the system and which ones really will shine as the season goes on.
We also probably learned that Philip Poole is going to treat every single road trip like this one, going to be quickest in, quickest out.
That's right. Coach Poole said that Carolina came in last minute to minimize the time on the road. There's always that balance. Do you want to come in and get acclimated to the time change, or do you want to come in and not allow your body to really feel it? And Coach Poole chose the latter. It's worked in Carolina's favor. Do you ever have a preference when playing, Marian?
I like this approach.
Yeah, why?
Because if I'm having to get acclimated and it takes me 4 days, well then when we go back, it's going to take me 4 more days to get acclimated back to how I was originally.
Right.
And then that's match day, right? And so I feel like you almost lose 2 match days when you do it that way. I am in full support of just don't even give your body a chance to acclimate. Get in, get the job done, get back to your homeostasis.
Jaskinek inside, headed up, headed away. Canales with a one-time hit, right into McClellan. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. Sarepka against Cummings. Three minutes of stoppage time from One Spokane Stadium. This half stoppage time is presented by Rosaries Supermarket. Rather, that's Rosar's Supermarket, as Vigiano wins it in the middle. Spokane looking to make a late minute sub here, right on the sideline. It's Haley Thomas coming onto the pitch and is taking off Mackenzie Weiner. Mackenzie Weiner, that number 9 in the attack all game long. A player who shined a little bit underneath Ekage, was trying to be that creator. Didn't work out for Spokane here today. Haley Thomas, 25 years old, played her college ball at Weber State, was the Big Sky co-defensive MVP, and her graduate year played at Boston College. This is Thomas's first minutes in USL Super League.
And with the removal of Amina Ekage in the second half, we did see some glimpses of Mackenzie Weinert as a more out-and-out winger, someone who can get 1v1. You can tell she's got that tendency to drift centrally, but really nice to know if you're Joe Johnson that you do have another threat in the wide spaces. But Anna, that's not their problem. We know that they have all kinds of threat in the wide spaces. What I would call for Spokane in their next match is just a bit more of a midfield presence. Obviously, they're going to go back and watch some things on film from a defensive standpoint, pick out some moments that could have been better. But it's hard to rely on your flank players all game without some sort of presence in the central part of the field.
Some changes Spokane will have to make in their next match, but right now, an opportunity again from these set pieces, and that's the biggest thing too, not the biggest thing rather, but an opportunity that Spokane didn't take advantage of in this game. Ukeko inside. McClellan will punch it away for another corner kick. This is the ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. Seconds to go here from One Spokane Stadium. Option to go short. Driven inside and nobody gets a touch. Right now, Carolina Ascent heads into match day 5 at the top of the standings, and if Ascent can pull this one off, which it looks like they will stay in that #1 spot headed into match day 6. Carolina Ascent will take on Tampa Bay at home, and Spokane will take on DC. Big header in the back. Vicky Bruce will be called, and Padilla will call the play dead.
Vicky Bruce on a yellow card. The last thing you'd want as your head coach is to see Vicky Bruce get a second booking this late in the game.
Jada Bedoya comes on to the pitch. She will take off Audrey Harding. Really nice showing, and her 3rd ever start for Carolina.
I thought she was very good tonight in multiple ways, most of them off the ball. And sometimes as a 9, you do a thankless job. And tonight she doesn't see her name on the score sheet, but she was quite impactful.
Potentially one last opportunity for Spokane. Canales in the box. Reese gets a head on it. Reaching, deflected. Jazz Connect, shot over. Ukeko with the last opportunity for Spokane. Carolina keeps a clean sheet and goes home with 3 points.
What an impressive performance by Carolina Ascent. You mentioned it was a big test, their first road match. How were they going to handle it? They progressed their way into this match and incredibly efficient in the 18-yard box. They sold out with the defensive effort. And if you're Spokane, we said it, there's going to be some moments to break down as a group. There are going to be some changes perhaps that are evaluated on the back line and within the midfield. But hear me out. Mistakes are expected. Mistakes are how you grow. And ultimately for Joe Johnson, it's just got to be about not making the same mistakes moving forward.
Tonight's play of the match is brought to you by Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Some really nice plays on both sides of the ball all game long. This one came from Amina Ekage on the far side, a nice ball played inside, just couldn't convert.
And how would this have changed the trajectory of the game? Amina Ekage doing what she does best, 1v1 situation, cutting in on her favorable left foot and forcing a save more of that, but for Spokane, they won it within the frame of goal.
Spokane's undefeated streak is broken here tonight. Carolina Ascent will be on a 4-game unbeaten streak headed back home. This was a big test for Carolina on the road on the other side of the country, and they passed it here today. Standing with us is one of the goal scorers for Carolina Ascent, Sydney Studer. Sydney, congratulations on that first half goal. This was your team's first road match, a big test for your side. What did you learn about yourself and your team in this 90 minutes of play?
You know, one thing that our team, we have this different slogan each time. It's either sharp, and today was just grit. And I think even though that second half was messy, our midfielders, our forwards, and our defenders put in so much grit, and that's what we came home with.
Yeah, there was so much effort from you guys defensively to close this out, a real professional performance. But I've got to know, Sydney, are you and Vicky just talking to each other like, hey, you see a center back has a goal, it's going to be my turn? Are you guys scheming against the attackers? Because you keep getting it done.
We communicate a lot because I'm not originally a center back.
Right.
I'm learning the position, so communication has been super key with me and Vicky, and I'm so glad to have someone like Vicky with me, just telling me what to do, and just, you know, she's a leader and a captain in herself. So we are communicating all the time. We're like, they're in the middle of us, they're on your left shoulder, they're on your right shoulder.
It's been a fun combination to watch, Sydney. Thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on the win.
Congrats, Sydney.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Spokane drops at home against Carolina Ascent. Carolina with 3 big points on the road, 2-0 over the Zephyr. Stay with us. We have more after this break.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one. Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
Zephyr FC home match in September. Welcoming DC Power FC from our nation's capital and celebrating Hero Night. The first 500 kids will snag a Zephyr superhero cape and bring your youth soccer gear for the Les Schwab donation drive. See Spokane Zephyr FC in their historic inaugural season. Reserve your seats now.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca un poco de ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024 pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
A big win in the Pacific Northwest for Carolina Ascent, 2-0 over Spokane Zephyr. Stays undefeated, Carolina, and at the top of the table with 10 points going into match day 6. We wrap up USL Super League match day 5 with an exciting game. Spokane really got off to a nice start. They created opportunities, set pieces for themselves, but eventually it was Carolina's high press that got them on the board first.
And Carolina just using the player recognition to expose this space. The center backs not on the same page for Spokane. Defensive midfielder doesn't drop underneath. Mia Corbin exploits that space that they left occupied, and for her, it was just about faking the goalkeeper out a little bit, saw the runners on the back post, took it to the back post herself anyway. And just as you thought Spokane had a moment and were gonna get back into this match, Sydney Studer had other plans for the second goal, sending Spokane into the locker room down 2-0. Ultimately, they could not come back. A big piece of that was their inefficiency in the set piece situations. Plenty of opportunities, plenty of chances created. It's just about actually putting it in the back of the net.
Mia Corbin from the Washington State area has a ton of fans in attendance, and you saw the celebration. So cool that she got to do it in front of her fans. Carolina Ascent didn't have as many shots as Spokane, but the possession really went in Spokane's favor as well. Carolina just getting the job done when asked.
And the shots on target to shots ratio for Carolina, obviously much more exciting than the one for Spokane. Just 2 shots on target for Spokane. And again, what stands out, the 10 corner kicks that Spokane had, couldn't make do with one of them. They had opportunities to get back in this match, but ultimately for Jo Johnson and her side, that's a positive that you can take into your next match.
Spokane is creating those opportunities. Carolina early on in their season are proving they can get the job defensively to get them out. Carolina sent a big 2-0 win on the road, close out match day 5 with 3 points and stay undefeated at the top of the table. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. For my entire crew, our producer Maria Ringo, I am Anna Whitty, Mary Crowder. It's been an exciting one from Washington State. Until next time, have a great night.